With great power comes great responsibility. बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली बहुत से इंडियन यूट्यूबर्स अपने बचपन के इस लेसन को भूल चुके हैं या फिर उनको ये रियलाइजेशन ही नहीं है दैट हाउ मच पावर डू दे होल्ड. And this is the reason that they dive into such ridiculous comparison like TikTok versus YouTube, which has no comparative grounds at all, unless you cut a section of YouTube community who makes roasting and cringe videos, which as per my assumption barely constitutes 2 to 3% of Indian YouTube community, and then start comparing it with TikTok, which has almost 70 to 80% cringe videos on it. Again, an assumption. And don't get me wrong when I call them cringe, I will explain it later. Second, TikTok was launched in 2016 and YouTube in 2005. TikTok has valuation of $75 billion and YouTube has valuation of over $160 billion. TikTok has only 11 categories and YouTube has 15 main and hundreds of subcategories. The point is that there is no comparison. But the question is why still it is being compared and who is fueling and pushing this controversy? Believe me, there is a lot going on in this. And I decided to make this video after Sweta alias Mansutra posted this video on his channel, highlighting a very serious problem in it, which needed to be addressed. Otherwise, I have a lot of videos in line which will surely not attract many eyeballs. So here it is, the second episode of the series, Ye Chal Kya Raha Hai? So in this video, we will focus on three things. First, why all this TikTok versus YouTube comparison and controversy started and who is fueling it? Second, why I think that TikTok is a wonderful application coming from a not so wonderful country. Third, why you are becoming a fool by being the part of this controversy. So, let's begin. First of all, there are so many not so great YouTubers in our country who call themselves so-called roasters without even knowing the definition of the word roast. Let me just quickly make an effort to educate them what does it really mean. So the word roast mean to criticize or reprimand someone severely or speak angrily on him. But this is when you do it personally. It is face to face, in person. And when it comes to public uses, this is what it means. Subject to good-natured ridicule, to humorously criticize a person in public, honoring that person. And this is the meaning in US English, exactly from where we have inherited this roasting culture. Therefore, even though the person you are roasting doesn't deserve any honor, you have to give him some respect and maintain his or her dignity for the sake of the sanctity of your profession. If you think it is your profession, which according to me you don't. Otherwise you knew that there is a very fine difference between roasting a person and public shaming him, bullying him and harassing him in public. And one of the reasons that these people don't know this difference is that they are not qualified enough to come into this profession. And it is from both sides. Roasting, I can call it a profession. However, I don't know what this is. But whatever it is, here we are dealing with people who are either 12th pass and feel proud on it, or school going and college going kids who are immature and haven't developed their mind but have attained a lot of fame, media coverage, public attention and followings but don't know what to do with it because they can't just keep doing this in every single video of theirs. Since this is not what they call content. Similarly, this is also not what they call content. Because if you wake up next morning thinking in mind that today you will pick up some random video from TikTok and start ridiculing the person, name shaming and public shaming him, and at the end doesn't even acknowledge the fact that you used his act to make your video, then it is not the content, it is plagiarism and no better than reaction videos. Because if you are not considering someone's act worthy to be called as content, then how in this world can you give it a criticism rather than just ignoring it? And the reason you can't just ignore it is that you know the person who is making this shit is getting more or equal recognition than you, and it is affecting your superiority in this shit industry. That's why you choose to show this shitty video to your millions of audience by fueling this controversy at the same time knowing the consequences in your mind. This is your content. And the reason I call these videos cringe is because in my perspective, any of these videos are not creating any value in the society or even on the platform, and it is fine. There is nothing wrong in it. They can remain cringe, just like my video can be cringe for someone who will think that I am addressing a stupid issue. And all of it is fine as long as the video don't start degrading to a level where it is, rather than just not creating any value, start doing the opposite of it, like spreading hate and inciting anger in the public, which is exactly what has happened in this case. I will touch this point in detail in the third part of this video because before there is an important issue needed to be addressed, and it is the video of Vedant Rasti which he posted on his channel amid the controversy, in which he protested for YouTube taking down his video from the platform by giving the arguments of freedom of speech and expression. So I have disagreement on two of his points where he mentions freedom of speech and LGBT right to protest on this issue. So my point is that you only have your full freedom of speech as long as your speech is not not affecting my freedom to live with dignity and respect in the society. And it is written in the Constitution, Article 19. And according to Supreme Court, freedom of speech is not absolute. That is why we have provisions like preventive detention and laws like National Security Act. And as far as his video is concerned, this is certainly not making this person's life better. Second, the issue of LGBT community. So first of all, before scrapping the Article 377, same-sex marriage illegal था. Gay, lesbian या homosexual पैदा होना नहीं. They asked for the acceptability. Equal तो वो पहले से ही थे. But उनको तब भी वही treatment मिल रहा था और आज भी वही मिल रहा है. Therefore, according to me, they definitely have a strong part to protest against this consistent demonization of their gender through these videos and comments. Because this is what democracy means, and I want to say many things which I will do in a separate video, otherwise ये video बहुत लंबी हो जाएगी. So I will now come on the second part of this video, which is why I think that TikTok is a wonderful application even though it is coming from a not so wonderful country. Because we must appreciate talent no matter from where it is coming, and if it is being criticized primarily because it is coming from a country like China.
A decade ago, almost all of the major internet platforms were American. Today, 6 of the top 10 are Chinese.
We must stop using every American products because US has been the biggest bully in the world and has committed more crimes in past than China. And of course there are issues with its policies for minors and children, and there are issues with regulation of the vulgar and disturbing content on the platform, which has to be changed, and if it don't, certain restrictions need to implement on the app. But this has to happen through a process, just like it happened in the case of YouTube. Now, why it is a good product? So, despite of its shrewd and intelligent algorithm, it compels and pushes a creator to think about their content more creatively to fit it under 1 minute section. Moreover, it is also a good app on a commercial point of view. Otherwise, all these people would not be using it. And no doubt it has a lot of cringe content on it. But so what? YouTube India also had the same issue few years ago. But over a period of time, its content has evolved. Similarly, this will happen with TikTok as well and has already started happening in West. Surely the presence of these people on TikTok doesn't validate its credibility. But those who follow them expect good content from them. And when these people see some opportunity in it, then Indian community will also evolve sooner or later. It doesn't mean we start demonizing their existence on it. Let them be on it. You have a choice not to watch them, and it will show you some better videos. And this brings me to the third part of this video, which is why you are becoming a fool being the part of this controversy. Understand this German origin word, Schadenfreude, which means feeling joy, pleasure, and satisfaction in the harm, trouble, failure, or humiliation of another person. Look for the psychological reasons behind this phenomenon. And why are you so much addicted into watching these stupid videos on daily basis? And whereas this issue need to be addressed in detail in a different video, which I will try to do, but the reason I am mentioning it here is the severity of this issue. The amount of anger and hatred that people are carrying in themselves, which is transforming them into becoming judge and jury, adopting jungle justice and mob justice, ruling out the possibilities of any legalized procedural investigation on the matters. They just want to see the other person dead for the crimes that he may or may not committed. In an algorithm, content finds its audience apart from all those agendas of the different platforms. This is what generally happens. It doesn't discriminately pushes one and restricts another. So if there are people who want to watch these cringe videos, let them watch it. It is their choice. And if you think that you should hate them, abuse them, and harass them who are making and watching such videos, then what do you think about your parents? They also watch many cringe daily soap or TV serials on their television. Will you also do the same with them as well? Understand, this is not free speech, this is not freedom of expression. And one last thing, this is not YouTube. Explore it.